be very clear about this. The celebrities that you look up to, the entertainers that you idolize, the artists that you admire, many of these people are not out there to help you. They don't care about you. All they care about is their pocketbook. So why is it that these people who are simply serving their masters, living up to a contract, many of them worshiping devils, demons, having sold their soul to Satan, why are we looking up to them as if they are the example of Black femininity and as if they are the ones that are setting trends? Why would we idolize, pedestalize, and put people on platforms who are literally under the agenda of the enemy? Think about that. You would only do that if you don't believe in yourself, or if you are too blind and foolish to understand that you are cannon fodder, that you are red meat to dogs who want to destroy you. Video of young, innocent Black girls singing, dancing, and gyrating to a song called Rich Baby Daddy. Here are the lyrics for you, for those of you who are unaware. So please tell me, what do young girls with knockers, barrettes, who are still trying to figure out how to tie their shoes, what business do they have singing a song like this? You know, you had some people in the comment section who were obviously quite concerned about what was being said, but look at the amount of retweets, right? Retweet usually suggests I am in agreement with what's happening here. There were like almost 3 or 4 times the amount of retweets as there were comments pushback. So what you're saying is that there is a large fraction of people who look at this and see no problem, who look at this and see that this is not a big deal. And this is exactly what I am saying. There's a disconnect between the things that we allow our kids to watch, between the things that we allow ourselves personally to listen to ingest, to take into our spirits, our emotions, our subconscious, and how that impacts our everyday lives. What are these young girls learning about their sexuality? Why are these young girls even learning about their sexuality when they barely know how to complete their ABCs? What is that saying about their purity and innocence when they are being introduced to adult concepts at such a young age? You have to tell me, for those of you who want to say that this is no big deal, okay, how is that working for you? Time and time again. Women who are blind to what's going on, being led astray by trends, being led astray by what's popular, being led astray by the glitz and the glam, saying it's no big deal, y'all are just acting too serious. But how has that mentality helped us? How is that working for us? Women, Black women, how is that working for you to say that it's no big deal when you see young Black girls gyrating and twerking and moving their bodies and they don't even know how to say their ABCs? How is it helping Black women when we see these girls being trained up into acting like a whore? How is that helping anybody? How is that helping you when you turn the blind eye to how these young kids are being programmed towards destruction? They're being initiated into destruction, initiated into failure, initiated into bad results under your watch. This is not a game. It's not a game. Black woman, there is an agenda out there to destroy you. And many of you guys are participating in your own destruction. You can't blame anybody else but yourself. We allow young girls to be trained up into whoredom and prostitution when we turned our blind eyes to the destruction that is before us. When we follow artists who have sold their souls to the devil, or at best are under the bondage of their own slave masters, right? Through some of these record deals or these different contracts that they can't get out of. When we look up to those people, you have to understand you're under the enemy's agenda. You may not think it's a big deal, but look at the way these girls are being programmed. Look at the ways these girls are acting. And now look at the results. Even if you want to say in your own life that you have success, okay, granted, look at the results of the community. At what point do we look in the mirror and say, I have something wrong with myself too? At what point? At what point do we take responsibility for the things that we are doing, right? Or the things that we are turning a blind eye to? Because let it be crystal clear, Black women know how to speak. They know how to raise their voice, and they know how to make a fuss when they're not happy about something. Look at Simone Biles, somebody. Look at Kevin Samuels, somebody. Okay, look at Jonathan Major, somebody. Black women know how to talk. Me too. Black women know how to talk when they're not happy about their results. They know how to make a stink. They know how to make the world know that they're unhappy. But when things like this happen that are literally causing our own destruction, there's silence, there's complicity, you turn the blind eye, there's, it's not a big deal. I listened to the song too. I listened to that song when I was young. And I want you to understand how it's this kind of mentality on a mass scale that ultimately leads to these kinds of results, your destruction. I don't identify with that. That behavior to me is deplorable. I think it is neglectful. I think it is dishonoring. I think it's disrespectful. I think it is dangerous, and I think it's sad. And it's also a reflection of women raising other young girls who will eventually be women who don't really value themselves. Because to treat so flippantly and to treat with such little care these young girls who have the potential to be so much, again, speaks to a low level of value and self-worth. And it also speaks to people who have bought the agenda about who they are. The people who were in charge of the different record companies, who are putting out movies, running commercials, advertising to you, many of them want you to fail because your failure means their success. Let it be clear. This is the way the current system works. So please be mindful the next time you listen to something, you open up your spirit and your soul to something and treat your kid. Be mindful of the source. There is an agenda always at work, whether or not you are aware of it, whether or not you like it, whether or not you agree or disagree, there is always an agenda at work. You're always on somebody's side. And you get to decide whether or not you want to be on the side of the enemy or you want to be on the side of God who created you and experience wholeness. The choice is yours. I'm just here to deliver a message. But anyways, what do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later, okay? Bye.